Hello and welcome to Crimes of the Heart Tarot. I'm Miss Vicki, and I'm going to use the tarot to see if we can gain more insight into unsolved mysteries, deaths, and disappearances. Let's get started. Welcome to Crimes of the Heart Tarot. Today I want to do a reading about the evidence against Bryan Kohberger, the alleged murderer of the Idaho 4 students. A lot has come out on the internet. We've seen a lot of documentation about what the police have gathered, what they've said. They haven't said a lot. They can't say a lot because it might cause problems when they go to trial. But there's a lot of evidence. They collected a lot of evidence from his parents' home, from his apartment. But it's all speculation at this point. I just want to see how strong the evidence is, see if we can get a feeling for it that implicates him in the murders. Now, this is all alleged. This is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes only, and he has the right, just like everyone else in the United States, to a jury trial, a fair, impartial jury. And he is at this point innocent until proven guilty. So let's get started. All right. I'm going to use the Urban Tarot today. It's kind of a more down-to-earth tarot. More concrete, more evidence type pictures and all that. So I just want to get a feel for just the evidence the police have against Bryan Kohberger. And this is alleged. I'm not sure when the trial will be. He hasn't actually pled guilty or innocent, and he won't for quite a while, I think May or something like that. So I'm just going to lay some cards down. I want to see what kind of energy, how strong is this evidence pointing to him as the killer. All right. Just lay some cards down. This is a good deck. It's more modern. Just put a few down to start. All right. The first card we have is the journalist. That's the Prince of Wands. It's information. Somebody who's out there, the beginnings of a situation. This is interesting that it's the journalist, because this is basically saying the evidence is only what the public knows from police reports, the journalists, what they've said, internet information. We haven't actually seen the evidence. It hasn't been presented in court, so that's interesting. The second card is the Dancer. This is the Princess of Wands. This card, I mean, that's the pictures are interesting. Princess of Wands. This would be the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. This is somebody full of fire, dancing all around. You could say dancing, but they're here, there, and everywhere. So that's kind of what we're talking about, the evidence. That's kind of what we're getting. The evidence is everything, all kinds of speculation, from blood-soaked items, the fact that there was a knife sheath found. Everything you could imagine has been out there in the press. It's been a lot of fire. People are very upset about this, and they should be. It was a horrible crime, what happened to those 4 people. But all we have right now is what we're reading online and in the press and all that. All right, the next card is the Day Trader. This is the Prince of Discs. Okay, this was in reverse. Upright, this is basically about a slow-moving person. Prince of Discs is pentacles in other decks. It's about money. It's about solid evidence. It's about down-to-earth things. In reverse, this is interesting. In reverse, this is not a lot of action right now. I think this maybe it's talking about time. As for evidence, it's plodding along. That's what I get. Just plodding along, little by little. The lawyers are doing their lawyer things. They're getting ready for the court trial, for his appearance. We've got two princes. We've got the Prince of Wands and the Prince of Discs, the journalist. I think that's pretty clear. We're really just relying on what we're reading right now. We don't really know what the evidence is. Even the police may not know for sure. That the Prince of Pentacles in reverse, very slow moving. This is things of the earth. I'm not sure exactly what this means. I'm going to come back. I mean, I know what it means, but let's come back to it. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is basically having everything you work for. Having completed very hard work. Pentacles again is material things. It could be evidence. It could be money. It could be. It can mean health too. In reverse, this is not having all the things you've worked for. This makes me wonder about the evidence. I mean, I think what I'm picking up on is they may not have as much as they're letting on. That's kind of what I'm getting. But on the other hand, all we know is what we're reading in the press, online, all that, and the information about what they collected. It just could be that it's too soon. All right, the next card is Satiety. This is the Ten of Cups, and this basically can mean, this is really strange, these two cards are just the opposite if you think about them in terms of evidence. Not everything has come out. On the other hand, we have Satiety. It's a celebration. I think maybe this is saying right here, what I'm getting from the cards is everybody's saying, oh yeah, he's guilty, he did this, he did that. I'm not defending him. I'm just doing a reading on the evidence and what I see, what I know. Everybody's celebrating. We've caught him. We've caught him. And cups can also be delusional. It can be excess. It can mean having way too much, celebrating too soon. With the Ten of Wands, I'm getting the Ten of Wands either means they don't have that much evidence that's going to pin it to him, or they haven't finished with the tests. All right, let's pull a few more cards. It's interesting that this came up first. This is a warning. We're only reading what is online. We have seen the reports of what they've gathered and all that, but we haven't seen the actual lab tests, the forensics. So it's a little bit of a warning. It's too soon to celebrate. It's too soon to say he's guilty. And I'm not saying he is or he isn't. It looks, from what I read, like he was a very strange person. Very strange person. But we're talking about the evidence. All right, let's pull a few more cards. Just kind of mix it. These are a little hard for me to shuffle. All right, let's see what else we get. Okay. All right, we've got the Lovers. Now this is in reverse. The Lovers is about, it's not just about a man and a woman in love, a partnership. It's about making a choice. It's in reverse, but it can mean a choice. It can mean a business partner. It can mean lawyers. It can mean choices on the evidence, how things are done, how they're carried out. This could be court. In reverse, it's not that positive a card. It's making bad choices, making wrong choices. That's interesting, that candle entwined like that. Maybe the lawyers, this could be his lawyers getting worried after having gone over all the evidence. It could mean that. It's such a high-profile case. I don't know. Their reputations will be on the line too. We got the Hermit. The Hermit is upright. The Hermit is someone who is pulled away from society, who's gone within. This is Bryan. I mean, obviously, this is Bryan. The Hermit, he's gone within. He's closed himself off. I think this could mean that he's not really helping the lawyers that much. He seems to profess his innocence. He's said that. He wants to be exonerated. So they're not getting a lot from him at this point. Now, it's still early in the trial. He may decide to plead guilty if he is guilty. He may decide something else. I'm not sure what his rights are, but he has a lot. And it just could mean it's just Bryan being Bryan, which is, he's a very unusual person. So the lawyers, I think this card represents his lawyers. I think they're worried. He's not talking to them, not saying much. They may be thinking they're in over their heads. And I don't know if they've seen all the evidence. I don't know if all the tests are in yet. I'm not sure how that works. All right, the next card is the Princess of Discs. All right, this is basically the prince. It can be a prince or a princess of discs. Discs are pentacles, money, earth. This is just representing the beginning of, basically it could mean the beginning of some kind of a gift. Someone's getting a gift. Someone's getting something. It's not Bryan. Someone's getting something they hadn't expected. And it's upright, so it's a positive. Could it be that the prosecutors have gotten something really positive recently that nobody knows about? I know they're looking at shoe prints and all kinds of things. Somebody got a gift. And somebody's really thinking they made a bad choice. Now this could be Bryan also, but I feel like it's more, no, I think it's his lawyers. I think they're concerned. Pull a few more cards. All right, evidence. What kind of evidence are we looking at here? It was such a terrible crime. People are out for blood. If he did it, they do have the death penalty, and my prior readings on him showed him getting the death penalty if he was guilty. And I'm not going to jump ahead and say that I think he is or I think he isn't. You just can't do that. I mean, that's not who we are as citizens of the United States. A few more. All right. All right, the evidence. Okay, we have science. All right, there's a big green snake around 6 swords. In the Rider-Waite deck, the basic deck that I use, that's my go-to deck, this means basically moving away from a bad situation. But this card shows a green snake with a heart pierced with 6 swords, and it's called science. This is the evidence. I mean, obviously, the evidence, the science, the tests, all of that, it's really going to determine a lot of whether he was guilty or not. They're also going to use phone records. I think I read that he had texted, is that the right word? One of the girls, or messaged, I guess it is. So this case is really going to be about science, but it's also going to be about passion. Everyone's upset about this. Everyone knows this is a horrible crime, and they want it to be solved. Moving away from a bad situation. That's interesting. I don't think it's his lawyers. If this is his card, it's a positive card for him. Let's wait. Pull a few more cards. All right, we've got the Knight of Swords. This is called the Game Master. Here's the Knight of Swords. This is Bryan, I think, with his chess pieces. I don't know if you can see these very well. Sometimes I forget to hold them up. There he is with his sword on his horse and the chess pieces, playing the game. It's in reverse. The Knight of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Swords upright is someone who's totally logical. There's no emotions. It's all about playing the game, the science, doing everything a certain way. In reverse, it's someone who's really out of control. This is somebody that would do almost anything. A knight here, there, and everywhere. Has no self-control. It's also about truth. Swords are thoughts. This could be lying. Way lying. Way lying. Lies coming from Bryan. I mean, if he did this, obviously he's not forthcoming. Or we'd have heard something about that, I think. Okay, so there's a lot of lying going on. A lot of hidden thoughts. Then we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a positive card. It's at the end of a cycle. It's close to a 10 card, which is an ending card. It's happiness. It's finding your emotional fulfillment. This is a positive card. The lies. The lies and the hatred. Going within, moving away from a bad situation. This card is kind of confusing because normally it means moving away from a bad situation. It can mean, it could be his lawyers trying to get out of this, but I believe he's hired them. I think his lawyers are pretty good lawyers from what I could see. This card, we need clarification on this card. A little bit more on the evidence. What does that card mean? Moving away from a bad situation into calmer waters. Oh, I think I know what this means. They're going to get a change of venue for him. I think that's what they're working on. Because right now he doesn't have a chance if it's held in Idaho. So they're going to be working on that. They're working on a change of venue. He's not helping. He's not telling the truth. But if he's not talking, if he's not helping, the truth will come out. That's what I get from this card, the Knight of Swords. This is a very cruel person. The truth will come out about the cruelty without him having to speak. All right, so they're going to get a change of venue. Do we see anything in the cards about what's going to happen? It's a long way off. There's so many emotions. But I'm getting right now that he's not helping. And I would think if I was him and if I was innocent, I'd Maybe be cooperating. Maybe he thinks he's being cooperative. A few more cards. What is the evidence? Okay, the evidence is slow moving. We obviously can't go by what we're reading on the online. And it's not going to come out until he goes to court. If he goes to court, he could plead guilty. He can't plead insanity. I did read up on that. Idaho doesn't have that defense. So it's either guilty or innocent. All right, a little bit more. So far, it's kind of what I'm thinking, kind of what we've all been thinking, except it's a warning. Be careful about all this. Don't jump to conclusions that it's a slam dunk. The Knight of Wands. This is fire. This is a gift. It could be this is a gift, an evidence gift. I know they're looking at shoe prints too, and they've taken some things from his apartment. I'm kind of getting a wait and see, and don't jump to conclusions. I'm going to pull a few more cards, and then we'll probably close this reading. And I wanted to say too, when I say close this circle, when I do a reading, I put a white light of protection around myself, the cards, and my viewers, because I read on a lot of negative things. And when I close the circle, I'm closing the energy off. And that's just how I do the cards. I use the candle to concentrate, but I just don't want the negative energy hanging around. All right, the Seven of Cups. This is fantasy. It's called Debauch in this tarot deck. This is almost, or not almost, but similar to the Thoth Tarot. This is delusions. This is, I want this, I did that, I did this, I did this. In reverse, it's showing that truth will come out. This is a good card to see. This and the Nine of Cups. The truth is going to come out. It's going to take a while. We have to be patient. And all the lies and all the stories and all the bad information is going to come out. All right. The next card we have is the Eight of Pentacles. This is working. Pentacles is money, earth, prudence. It's in reverse, which shows that, to me, that they're having a very hard time gathering the evidence, making sure it's right, making sure that it's pristine, it's been handled properly. I'm not saying that it's bad evidence, I'm just saying it's difficult. This is really difficult because they don't want to make any mistakes. So they're being very careful. And they might be looking at some things that just aren't true. They have to be careful of what they fall for, so to speak. You can't make up your mind in advance if you're in this line of work as a lawyer or in law enforcement or even, evidence. I think that's a warning. And then we have the Ace of Cups. All right, the Ace of Cups, this is a beginning card. This is the beginning of love, positive things. There's the Angel, a cup of love. I'm hoping that this is saying it's easing the way for the lawyers and what's going to happen. It's a beginning card. So they could be seeing a big breakthrough. I think they've been working very hard. A lot of missteps, a lot of egos involved, but I think they're on the right track now. The evidence this evidence reading is interesting. I've never actually done a reading quite like this on evidence, but it kind of makes common sense. I think I'll close the circle, and I'd like to know what you think. Kind comments. Please subscribe, like, share. Let me know what you think. And watch Afterlife Adventures with Amanda. We'll see you next time. Bye.